I want to talk about Indiana Jones. The trailer for The Dial of Destiny came out.
That's a great name, Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, well, first I want to say, like, even Crystal Skull, like, they actually, I think they, unlike Star Wars, they all have good subtitles, I think.
Yeah, The Last Crusade, Temple of Doom.
That's great.
Last Crusade,
Raiders Lost Ark,
and what's Crystal Skull's full one? It's
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Okay,
And then Dial of Destiny. Those are all pretty good titles.
Dial of Destiny's not.
You don't think so? That's the worst one of the bunch, but I don't have an issue with Dial.
It's almost like a weaker version of like Ocarina of Time or something.
Oh, well, sure. The Oriental Pearl. Chinese restaurant down the street from me. Indiana Jones and the Oriental Pearl.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm be playing an Indiana Jones video game, and that'll be the MacGuffin of the.
So yeah, it's a CD-ROM adventure. Yeah. I get your point, but I think, I mean, Dial sounds archaeological to me, and Destiny feels film serial to me. I don't know.
Dial feels a little boring. It's like I turned the dial on my thermostat.
Okay. Maybe the alliteration is a little too precious, compared to the past movies never really had the alliteration thing. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull may be their best title and worst movie. It's a pretty good title. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I noticed there were they downplayed Phoebe Waller-Bridge in this trailer.
We're getting worried.
They're getting worried.
Might have gone a bit too far in a few places. She's the new Indiana Jones in the first 10 minutes. Fuck.
What?
You gotta stretch out that Harrison Ford. We forgot again to actually make the main character the main character. Shoot.
Yeah, and they like missed the opportunity to like make it like James Bond, where you can have a different Indiana Jones or like a different take on Indiana Jones from a different actor. So they have to like wheel out Harrison Ford. He has to like they have to like get a stunt double to do like him walking.
Mr. Ford, we need you to walk over there. I gotta walk over the damn set. It sounds like Biden.
Photoshop my face on that guy. Just spray paint his hair white.
52 years ago, I was down in a Temple of Doom. This isn't a joke.
Is Joe Biden?
He's Joe Biden. And me and some woman strapped up to a pole. They said, "Look away, your faces are gonna melt." I'm not kidding around. I fought the damn Nazis, man. He really did.
Really?
This guy actually did fight the Nazis, literally with his fists. There's a pretty, so the trailer itself. I'll let you go. What do you think? Before I embarrass myself and say I really liked it.
No, I actually think it was a good trailer.
Yeah.
I thought it was very well cut, and it seems I feel like they know what all the criticisms are of,
Oh, for fuck's sake! By now,
what they've been doing with the Disney Plus brand, and by what they're doing, I mean mostly making low quality things.
Yeah, they had a very important meeting, just the really smart people. And they said, "So, should we make The Last Jedi of Indiana Jones?"
That's what it did. It did. This felt more Force Awakens than that.
Yeah, which maybe Indiana Jones will fall off a bridge into his death. Like Han Solo did. They'll just keep rolling him out for these saccharine reboots and then throw him off a cliff. Part of his contract.
And he'll come to like Phoebe Waller-Bridge in a dream in the next one.
Do it! Throw me off the damn bridge. It's part of my contract.
So yeah, I guess there's time travel in this one. So
the Dial of Destiny, don't you know?
They'll turn the dial back in time.
Yeah, don't touch that dial.
So, and I saw there's a young, they're doing the de-aging thing. So.
It looked well. I'm sure, for 2 seconds or whatever. But
yeah, it was 2 seconds.
Those 2 seconds, that was a pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it looked great, and it looked thrilling. It looked exciting. I'll admit, I thought the trailer was good.
Do you think they'll learn the lessons of The Irishman and not have him like you wouldn't want
shots of him actually walking?
Yeah, you don't want the de-aged Harrison Ford like shuffling about.
My guess it's like they're gonna do some sort of
double.
double, because you can't have, because Indy, when he gets his shirt ripped, he's got his muscles sticking out and shit. You can't like deep fake that onto elderly Harrison Ford.
The de-aging and the deep faking, it is improving. It is getting better. The best we've seen, right, would be Mando season 2, that episode where Luke is training Grogu, and still, it's like it is such
robotic.
It's such a pale imitation of like having a real fucking human being. Like, you just cut to a scene from Return of the Jedi and be like, oh right, humans exist. You like forget for a minute. You're like, this is probably the best we can do. Like, no, a human being actually is better. I promise.
Yeah, I'm more in the camp that we should just recast like these legacy characters.
So there was there was an article posted about or an interview posted with Bob Odenkirk about Better Call Saul when he was when he had his heart attack scare, and he was saying like, if I had died, I would hope that they, just to get the story finished, that they recast it and whatever and move forward. And I heard some people be like, yeah, that's probably the best you could do, right? Probably a good idea. But my take is like, I don't know, like without the guy, like to me, like the guy is the character is the guy. With that particular situation, I'd say, well, if you had it all written and everything, like do it as a comic, do it as a book, do it as an animation, but like to just like proceed with the series,
yeah, that would be tough. And it was the same situation with Black Panther. It's like I don't know, you could recast them, but
yeah,
I don't know, too soon.
This one is the first Indiana Jones movie not directed by Steven Spielberg. This time around, they got James Mangold. Yeah. And I don't know that. Has James Mangold ever made a bad movie ever? I mean, this guy makes pretty good movies. He's made Logan. He's made Copland. I love Copland. He's made other films that escape me at the moment. He's a really good filmmaker, and
he's a thoughtful filmmaker, and especially since I've heard all the rumors of the scrapbooking, especially with this movie, and so.
But like, how could he do that?
It's.
This is the guy who made Walk the Line.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he'll pull it off. Maybe those were fake. Maybe he went along with the system and he actually had an idea for his movie, but they're like, you have to film scenes with Luke Skywalker and you have to film scenes with maybe Professor Xavier is there with Michael Fassbender and
maybe he shoots him and gets rid of him. Yeah, we had just heard about that like in Multiverse of Madness, they actually did shoot like a whole sequence with Michael Fassbender as the dad of Wanda, and then they were like, nah, we'll cut this. I'm like, how would it have ever, like, why even get Fassbender on the set for this total nonsense scene? You fucking idiots. What are you up to over there?
Yeah, and so I've heard similar stories in the dark web about that with Indiana Jones. So I hope, I hope he pulls it off.
Oh, he did 3:10 to Yuma. That's a cool movie. You ever see that?
Yeah, that's a cool movie. I've seen that.
Yeah, he's good, man. He did Girl Interrupted, Kate and Leopold, Walk the Line, of course, 3:10 to Yuma, the Wolverine, Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, which I have not seen. He's just good. He's really good. He's a great and he was supposed to do Boba Fett at one point before it got Filoni'd.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Boba Fett got passed around to a lot of lovers. There was first there was what's his face from the Fantastic Four there.
Oh, what is the guy who smeared like shit everywhere, right?
Yeah, Josh Trank.
Yes.
If there's one making of documentary I want to see, it's of that fucking Fantastic Four movie. I love that Fantastic Four. Have you actually seen the film?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's worth your time.
It's worth your time.
Here, let me like see if I can summarize it. There's like a total nonsense first act where just like young people show up to this lab and they're working on going to space or something. It's like what's his name? Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. He's the Torch in it. And then they end up like having their accident. It becomes a body horror movie for 20 minutes or so. Like the guy who's stretched, Mr. I was called it Mr. Incredible. Stretch Armstrong there. He starts being like, oh God, he's like going through like some torture. And the guy who turns into the Thing, the rock monster, he's like, no.
His nips get too hard.
You could tell that like that the director had envisioned Like, oh, that would be an interesting place to take it. Make it horrifying for all of them.
Let's make a snuff film.
And that's kind of what I believe that's the movie he meant to make, and that's still there. But then it cuts to like at the 50% mark, it cuts to reshoots, and the whole second half of the movie is reshoots that don't involve the director. And all of a sudden you're at like some military presentation where they're like, so the Fantastic Four went on to, this is right after you just watched some scene where they all were tortured. They're like, they went on to become superheroes. And they show like footage like where clearly the actors weren't available of CG versions of them, like saving this, that, and the other. And then like Doctor Doom gets made and they have a last act fight with him. Famously, the Rooney Mara's sister there, is that who it is? Suzanne Summers, whatever the character's name is.
Sue Storm.
Is
it Kate Mara? Kate
Mara, yeah. She like famously has like a like a Halloween wig that doesn't match the first half of the movie at all. She's got this like blonde Halloween wig, and they fight the monster at the end, and then they get their own facility, and they're like, we should come up with a name for ourselves. And the Thing goes like, that's fantastic. And they're like, that's a good idea. And it cuts the credits. It's so good. You're watching a studio be like, I don't know. We just got to finish it and put it out and take the loss. And I mean, we know it sucks and we're sorry.
Got to maintain the rights.
Yeah, we can't spend another dime on it. That's for sure. There's no fixing it. So we just got to put it out there in movie theaters and take it on the chin. And unfortunately,
clean up all the shit on the walls that Josh Trank left.
Is it true that he threw shit?
I don't know.
I've heard that.
That's just the thing that gets thrown around.
That's just the kind of shit they throw around.
About Josh Trank.
What happened after Fantastic Four broke Josh Trank? The post-disaster artist. I'm just gonna control F for shit. Whoa.
Probably be feces, right?
Oh, right, because he directed Capone with Tom Hardy.
Oh, right.
And he was big into, like, a lot of people don't know about Capone, is he used to diarrhea himself. He like said that during like the press. It was like, that's what I can promise you.
He used to eat his own diarrhea.
I'm not the only one who threw shit at the wall. Did you know Al Capone may have? He definitely doesn't my version.
Finally, Al Capone could eat his diarrhea for you.
I don't believe in magic.
In the trailer he goes like, I don't believe in magic. And then he says something about like, I just believe, you gotta believe.
Oh yeah, that line is weird because he's seen so many unbelievable things. Why is he still like an atheist?
Yeah, I'm like, you're an idiot then, right? Because like you've literally like, I know you didn't watch the Ark of the Covenant melt a bunch of guys, but you woke up and they were all melted, and you believed in it at the time enough to be like, close your eyes. So that was number one. You watched a guy rip out another dude's heart like it's just like putty, just like with his bare hands. You've watched. You certainly used the cup of Christ to heal your dad, and it worked on a gun wound.
Yeah,
it worked.
The wrong one turned like a guy. He aged it really fast.
Yeah,
and that was probably not science that did that.
No, I don't think it was. I mean, if you were using the scientific method and you saw that guy turn into a skeleton and be blown to bits, you probably wouldn't take that same water. You'd assume it was the water that did it. And you wouldn't take that same water and pour it on your dad's gunshot wound. Right?
No.
If you were using the scientific method.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.